good at
That
it.
bathtub gin.
Yeah.
But they would normally break if they found you traveling with alcohol, they'd normally break it. If they pulled you over and found a case of it.
Because you weren't allowed to transport it either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if you were transporting it, then you were supposedly selling it.
And cops were really crooked back then, too. So I would imagine if for some
sure.
reason they broke it, they went, if they searched your house and found it,
they would keep it.
They normally would take it.
They probably wouldn't, dude. They'd probably snitch on you to the guy that's making it. Then they break your legs.
They would probably take it. But yeah,
The cops weren't they cops run by the mafia and stuff?
A lot of places.
a
Yes.
lot, yeah,
They
like
were
Chicago.
paid off, yeah.
So like they
New
found out
York.
you're doing it, they would tell the big man that you're doing it, and the big man would break your legs.
The guy you're never supposed to see.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Yeah, maybe.
And then a lot of bars and clubs, they had to stop selling it for obvious reasons, restaurants and stuff. But this actually increased the sale of alcohol, the fact that it was illegal. Mm-hmm. And they would call these places speakeasies or blind pigs. And the blind pig phrase came from you would go to a place and you would pay a ticket to watch a show, and then the owner of the store would have some type of animal or commodity or show in the back, and he would serve drinks for free.
How does in Mexico?
Mm-hmm.
The donkey show? Little different in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
I think one instance they called it a blind pig because one person actually did have a blind pig behind a curtain, and if the cops came in, he was like, "Well, they're just watching a show. They didn't pay for the drinks. They're just watching the show."
Yeah.
It was one of the many loopholes.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had booze cruises. That's where those started. You would pay to go on a cruise, and then all the drinks were free.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's where that started.
A lot of people couldn't afford to go on these things or pay for these shows, though. So
it was
wealthy.
catered to the rich.
Yeah, so that's why a lot of the people that did die from poisoning were poor people.
Right, because they were drinking the bathtub gin, the little mini distilleries that all the mobsters set up to have just random people in apartment homes making, out of 1 gallon things every week. They could pump it out. And they would pay them a small fee, turn around and sell it for double, and just keep it rolling. And then they never had to do anything but transport it.
Yeah, they would get denatured alcohol. It was like a cheap way to make it, and it was really dangerous for consumption, though.
Yep. And they called it bathtub gin because a lot of people made it in their bathtub, and they had to cut it with water, so they would use the spigot from their bathtub because it was smaller instead of the one from the sink, and the bottle would fit under it better.
See, so they sell like gamer girl bathtub gin.
Go to my OnlyFans and get my bathtub gin.
Yeah, with or without the sparkles.
It's got the pubes in it.
The water's cloudy.
And this also led to the to mixed drinks having a bigger foothold. Because before it was like, oh, you're not drinking it straight, you're not a man, But this led to the rise in mojitos and the rise in cocktails as well, because some of the bathtub gin was just really terrible, but they still wanted to get drunk.
Was Long Island iced tea created in Long Island?
Probably not.
Okay.
I doubt it.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to go find a Philly cheesesteak and a Long Island iced tea. Get to the bottom of that.
I like a Long Island, though. It's pretty good.
I'm a man. I drink mine straight.
What do you drink?
Water. Straight from the tap.
Straight from
No
the
filter, you monster.
I don't give a frack.
I don't have a filter on my cigs either.
It's straight paper tobacco. I just smoked a leaf.
That's better for you.
I just put a leaf.
You don't have the rat poison
Just
in that
chew
version.
on it.
Just chew the leaf, man.
You don't do that, you got the rabbit tobacco. What is that?
Vegan tobacco.
I don't know. I remember my
What?
grandma talking about it back in the day.
Yeah, you're chewing a tobacco leaf.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
No, I thought
Straight
it was
to the
something
gum.
like wild that grew around here.
Oh,
Kudzu?
Watch it be like weed, and she was just making stuff. up.
probably.
She grew like weed and something.
There's a fucking weed plant in her backyard.
That's just rabbit tobacco, Chris.
That's just a
Rabbit tobacco.
She goes inside and like,
She's bonging it up.
You like knock on the door and walk in. It's just a cloud of smoke hits you.
You see her laying on the bed with her head down, trying to getting throat penetration.
Bob Marley playing in the background.
We talked about this on the pre-show.
yeah, I know, but why does this have to do with my grandma?
Well, she's practicing her smoke technique, getting the smoke straight in her throat.
My grandma died when I was in kindergarten.
Well, maybe the Ouija board will bring
We're
her
getting
back.
a Ouija board. We're getting a Ouija board.
It's on the way.
I can't tell the information I'm giving. I'm just assuming.
Oh, okay.
We're going to need table, a proper table, and clean this one off so we could all reach onto the tabletop.
We can. Oh yeah.
They'll probably tell me I have cancer.
Does Alex have
It's
cancer?
like, see you soon. It's like, why?
It just goes
And it just starts spelling
HA.
out
6 months.
It's like lung.
Well, I was going to say to that denatured alcohol thing, it was actually, sorry, it was redistilled industrial grade alcohol. That's liquor that was initially produced for things like cleaning supplies and paint. So
So they're drinking paint thinner.
Yeah.
That didn't hurt him at all.
the government started requiring the denaturing process, adding toxic or foul-tasting substances back in 1906 for manufacturers who wanted to avoid taxes on potable spirits. So, let's see.
Oh, I get it. That's smart.
Yeah, so they were keeping people from being able to drink, like, cleaning alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't do that anymore. We don't put those additives in
We don't?
no.
You drink it?
You can drink it. Like, you can...
It's rubbing.
It's
I wouldn't.
terrible. It's terrible, but you can get drunk off of it. You can drink.
Pretty sure rubbing alcohol will kill you if you drink it.
I mean, I know that
set you on
addicts
fire.
will drink it.
Probably
I know.
microwave it.
I know serious alcoholics will drink that stuff. They'll even drink mouthwash.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just wanted to just talk 2 seconds about how apparently back in these times the government poisoned alcohol on purpose, and it ended up killing 10,000 people. It's actually been proven. The Calvin Coolidge administration decided to make it more toxic in hopes to deter people from drinking it.
You know what else is toxic?
Britney Spears.
Calvin Coolidge was a terrible president.
Rubbing alcohol.
That's what I thought.
It still is.
Do not drink rubbing
That's why I
alcohol.
read it because I was thinking.
Do
I was
not
like,
drink.
I had a
rubbing
cold
alcohol.
sore and I was like, "Can I put rubbing alcohol in my mouth?" I googled it and it was like, "Don't do it or you'll die."
Yeah, this
I was
says
like,
the isopropyl alcohol can make a person very ill.
Oh, shit.
It's twice as toxic as ethanol, the form of alcohol contained in alcoholic beverages, and drinking it can result in severe depression of the central nervous system and internal bleeding and death.
What did Jackie Chan drink in Drunken Master?
Kerosene.
It was kerosene, yeah.
That was kerosene.
Did that make you drunk?
I don't know.
He
But
got drunk.
in the movie at the end, he was blind
He
because
probably
of
got
it.
high
Yeah.
from the
The
fumes.
government put it into liquor to deter people. The government put kerosene in liquor to deter
okay.
people from drinking it, so it's probably not good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not good, but it's probably got no benefit.
No, I doubt
It might make you trip. I don't know.
He walked on fire.
He's like, he isn't there.
That guy was kicking the shit out of him. That's a good movie.
But
That's a good movie.
I'm
Good
gonna
action.
And I'll
just
tell you though, for Thomas's thing, I did see a thing where liver cirrhosis and infant mortality rates went down during Prohibition. So I
Oh.
guess it worked.
wow. Yeah, so they put in kerosene, gasoline, benzene, cadmium, zinc,
Sounds bad.
mercury,
Zinc's good for you.
I like to gargle some mercury.
ether, formaldehyde, chloroform,
Mercury.
Ether makes you live longer.
carbolic acid.
That's
ether.
It's a highly poisonous compound. Yeah, ether.
And the stuff to
Like I sprayed my carburetor.
and what alchemists go after is ether.
Go straight to the ether.
It's also used as an anesthetic.
Can't fight the ether. That's the song, right? Can't find the ether.
I hate that they say chloroform is a liquid used
Don't
as a
fear
solvent
the ether.
that's used to also be used as a general anesthetic. They're not telling us that
Can you get
chloroform
chloroform?
is used to
For
capture
rape.
your prey.
Can
Yes.
you go out and buy chloroform?
I don't think you can off the shelf. I think you have to have a license to buy chloroform.
Yeah, Ace Ventura had it in that one movie. He jumped on the back of a running back and did it.
Let me
Yeah.
look it up on Amazon.
So that's all I got. I just wanted to say the government. It has been proven.
Yes, you can.
So
Oh, you can
killed-
get a 10% discount on chloroform online, Chris.
Yeah, I can get chloroform wipes.
that's not good.
Dude, $98 for a
Do these smell weird?
That's pretty cheap.
$98 for a bottle, highest quality.
How many servings?
I don't know, but here's a lab chem thing for 20.
What?
I'll just buy
Okay.
that.
So what would happen if you were laying on your bed and you put like 4 chloroform wipes on your face? Would you die?
I don't know, but I just found a deep pillow spray of chloroform.
Jesus.
Is it one of those $4,000 pillows on Amazon?
Put it on it and make yourself go to sleep. You just
Yeah,
have-
forever.
You chloroform yourself every night.
Find it in
Man,
the cabinet.
this pillow is so. And you die.
Then you're being sold in Russia on the fucking Yemen black market.
So
Maybe that's what happened to my Wayfair cabinet.
It's in Qatar getting
Yeah.
passed around.
It was a little weird that it said Yasmin, a Yasmin cabinet.
Yeah, for sure it's Jasmine.
All that
It was one of the 2,000 kids missing from ICE.
here's that thing I was telling you about the poor people being consuming most of this. The poison only related to renatured industrial alcohol, which disproportionately affected the poor who couldn't afford smuggled alcohol and booze cruises. Alcohol made by wine bricks, brought in by bootleggers, and sanctioned by the church were still safe. So that's all I got for that. So
The wine brick was actually interesting.
I don't know what the wine brick is.
Yeah, the
It
wine
was
brick
like,
was
a
cool.
bar of soap.
Right.
And it had instructions on it on how to make it into wine.
It would
but it was like,
dissolve or
don't do
something?
this. It's like, don't put it in your cabinet. It was like 10 days.
Yeah, it was like, don't lay this brick in 1 gallon of water. Don't leave it in your cabinet for 10 days. It will create alcohol wine.
It gave you an instruction to make wine. It was like, don't do it.
Yep. I get
Hey.
that. I get that.
But I don't know what the purpose of having a wine brick anyway.
It'd use it as
soap.
soap or something.
Yeah, I think they made it.
Like-
That
it was
was
like soap.
a byproduct of Prohibition. It was a way for them to skirt around it. Because a lot of other brewing companies that couldn't do stuff like that, they switched their production into other things.
Yeah.
Like Yingling and stuff was still around during this time.
Right.
They lived through it.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I mean,
You can live through 13 years of Prohibition. You live through 6 months of lockdown.
Yeah, you're right, Thomas. It says drugstores continue selling alcohol as medicine.
Yeah. That's why people got their pharmaceutical license.
Is that where they got their Coke?
Yes.
Is that back when
Real
Coke had
Coca-Cola. Real Coca-Cola.
Yep.
Said some states refused to enforce prohibition.
And they also said it was legal to make a certain amount of wine at home.
right.
Like up to like a few gallons a week.
Shit.
You guys ever heard of near beer?
Yes.
Where it's almost a beer? It's like
the beer that's like
0.5.
0.5% alcohol, and they were creating that from breweries and
That
selling
was a
it.
legal limit. 0.5%.
How many would it take to get drunk?
I don't know. I don't know real alcohol
Well,
numbers. Like
5%.
Did they make O'Doul's first?
I don't know.
I just wonder.
It'd probably take you like 30 or 40 of those to get drunk.
So you'd be dead by toxicity of like.
You'd be pissing
You drown
your pants.
yourself.
Yeah,
Your bloodstream is beer or
Unless,
barley water.
You'd be dead.
you'd have to be super dehydrated and drink like 5 of them, and then you might feel a slight buzz.
You're better off just going outside and eating the grass. Just lay down and just start munching. You feel the same.
I just wonder if the brewers that brewed Budweiser were pissing in their beers then as they are now.
I'm
Seen
sure.
that story? There
What-
was
what?
a retired Budweiser brewer who came out and admitted that for years they've been pissing in the beer.
That's why it tastes like piss.
Yep, that's why they always say, man, this piss beer,
Yep. So, but yeah,
it's the secret ingredient.
there were 227 gangsters during the 4 years of the major Prohibition era, and Capone was at the top. He had other people that spurred off of this called Bonnie and Clyde. You ever heard of them?
No.
Never.
Okay, so there was
Kidding.
I heard Thelma and Louise.
Thelma and Louise.
Is it Louise or Louis?
I think it's Louise. It's a
Were they
woman, right?
real? Were they real gangsters?
Yeah, Brad
I thought
Pitt
they.
was in
I
that
thought they would
movie.
made a movie about that.
Didn't they drive off into the sunset, but it was at the bottom of a ravine?
They died.
I love you, baby. So, here's another random fact: Capone actually was worth $1.4 billion in 2016 money. Mm-hmm. So he raked in $100 million in revenue in 1920s
That's pretty good.
just from the distribution of beer and prostitution and gambling.
Oh.
That's
Wow.
pretty good racket. He was able to afford a lot of other little gangsters to go out and kill his other crony gangs that he was against, like Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah, but
Muggsy Bogues.
the short black guy that played for the Hornets. What about Bugsy?
I was talking about Muggsy Moraine. Muggsy Bogues.
Muggsy
5'4"
moron.
black man.
So there was a story between Al Capone and Muggs or Muggsy, and
Yeah, see?
this was
I'm going to guard you.
I'm gonna prerequisite this by saying that a Thompson submachine gun will fire 10 to 12 rounds per second. So that's around 700 rounds a minute,
Oh,
which
wow.
you can't physically fire that many rounds a minute, but you